In this video, I'm going to be talking about my life living as a Muslim in Jamaica. Also, I'm going to be answering some of your questions about that. So I think this is going to be really interesting, so stick around for that in this video. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Jamaican Experience with Yaz, where I bring you a Jamaican experience that transcends sand, sea, and sensibilia. This channel is about all things Jamaican, so if you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, share and leave a comment, and also hit that notification bell so you never miss a video when we upload weekly. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Yazzle. And I want to say a special thank you to my viewers and subscribers so far. Thank you so much for your support. Also, if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you become a regular over here. So let's jump into it. The first thing that people tend to ask is, what is it like living as a Muslim in Jamaica? Foreigners tend to ask, what is it like being Muslim in Jamaica? Jamaicans tend to ask, like, what is it like being Muslim? Like, they think we're some weird aliens or something. Still in 2021, some people still don't know much about Muslims. So that's funny. Anyways, I'm going to see if I can clear up some of that in this video. So what is it like being Muslim in Jamaica? For me, I should say, so I'm Jamaican, 100% born and raised. My parents are Jamaican. And I'm married to a Jamaican born, right? So with that said, I live like a Jamaican, okay? My lifestyle is Jamaican. And of course, in Jamaica, people live in different ways, whether you're Muslim or not. It just all depends on socioeconomic class, all kinds of variables, you know, that dictate how people live differently here in Jamaica. So with that said, I don't consider myself to be separate from generally what is considered Jamaican. I think one of the best ways to address this though is to talk about a typical day. A typical day for me starts early. I get up in the morning, I pray, then I have my lemon water, I have my coffee, I feed my children. I have 3 kids, by the way. Or then I may or may not work out. If I don't work out in the morning, I work out in the evening. And then after that, I pretty much get to working, especially now that we're working from home. I do a lot of my, so if it was before COVID, I would head on out to work. Now though, because I am working from home, I just start working from home. I don't watch the time that I start to work. I just start to work. And then I work throughout the day, and because the kids are home as well and I'm working from home, I give them lunch, and you know, a typical day, I work, feed the kids, deal with the kids, all of that. So as you can already see, that's a typical mom life. You know, it's not anything vastly different from the general population. And then, as I said before, if I didn't work out in the morning, I'll work out in the evening. Because of COVID, I'm working out at home now. However, I still prefer to work out in the evening than in the morning. So that's a typical day, right? Let's talk about the food as it relates to the food. Generally speaking, I eat the same thing that you eat, with the exception of we don't eat pork. And you know, there are little specifics about our meats and how it should be prepared and all of that. But besides that, for the most part, our food is the same. I eat that curry chicken too. I make stewed peas as well. I make soup and all of those things. I make rice and peas and all of that, you know. So our food is not anything out of this world. Our food is pretty much what people in the Western Hemisphere eat, you know. So I don't subscribe to meat and rice and peas on a Sunday. I don't. But funny enough, if I do make rice and peas, it is on a Sunday. For some strange reason, that's how it happens. So our food, in terms of what we eat, is pretty much the same in terms of, you know, except that we don't eat pork. Let's talk about work. I've been a sales professional for a long time. I've been in sales in excess of 10 years, and I've sold all different category of products. I was a financial advisor for about 4 years, selling life insurance and investments for Sagicor. So I've done tangible and intangible products. My job has involved a lot of interaction with people. And guess what? None of my clients were Muslims. All my clients were non-Muslims, and I didn't have a problem with them at all. I never had a problem with my interaction with people at all. I just show up as a regular person. In fact, if you look at me, the only thing that would make you identify me as different is the fact that I have on a scarf, right? And what I find here in Jamaica is that people are more intrigued by that fact. Even and I should note that I recently started wearing my scarf this way. I've always worn my scarf like, you know, the typical traditional way that you see, wrapped around the chin and so on. So at that time, you know, when people see me, they surely identified me as a Muslim for the most part. Some people would ask me, you know, if it's fashion. I'm like, really? When they ask me if it's fashion, I'm like, what? Really? And I kind of started wearing this style. I was going to some fest and I didn't want to stick out too much. So I said, you know what, maybe let me just try one of those turban styles. And I did. And so I liked it and it was less hot. So I liked it and I was like, okay, this can work. So, you know, I started wearing it more often. Sometimes I do wear the regular style, but most times I prefer this now because it's just more comfortable for me. But the point is that I've never had an issue with my interaction with people. I also own and operate a business. I train people in sales. I train in sales and customer service. Also, I have a radio show. I have a weekly radio program right now where it's a reggae program. So the station is Hot 102 Reggae Global. It is a reggae show. So of course I do interviews and cover other contents and so on as well. But the basis is reggae. So I don't know how much more regular Jamaican can you get than that. So let's talk about my social life. Interestingly, most of my friends are actually not Muslims. I don't know if that's bad, but most of them, you know, if you ask some Muslims, they'd probably say that's bad. But the truth is the pool of Muslims here is actually very small. So I talk to people, but I just don't have that much opportunity to interact with them as much. Also, to be honest, I'm gonna say that for me, as a Muslim living here in Jamaica, my life is a lot different from some other Muslims that I know here in Jamaica. So I do it all, you know, like I do it all. So because of that, my friends are gonna be different. Bottom line, okay? I think if I were to move from Jamaica, you know, in a wider pool of Muslim women, I would probably have more Muslim friends. And that's just the basis of it. And what are the things that I like to do socially? I love to go out and eat. I love to go out and have lunch with friends. I think that's the thing I do the most. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will see quite a bit of that. Mostly in my stories. I don't put everything in my feed. But I do quite a bit of going out and eating with friends. And we do little parties sometimes. I kind of like partying with my friends, but not what you would consider your typical party. I don't go to dance. I'm really not interested. And I wouldn't fit in. I really wouldn't fit into a dance. I don't go to clubs. Again, yeah, no. But I like going out, you know what? But I like going out to a place that have real nice vibe. And that varies depending on the day, the type of vibe that I want. So that's it. That's basically my social life. But I do, in recent times, I've developed a very active social life. I've been making an effort since late last year. Funny enough, during this lockdown period, I've been making an effort to go out more because, listen, 2020 has traumatized me and I feel like I just need to do more things. So yeah, that's it for social. Let's talk a little bit about how I dress. If you follow me on Instagram, again, you will see that I may not be as typical as the average Muslim woman that you would see here in Jamaica. But I don't have a problem with that. I've gotten that comment a lot of times, but you don't look like the other Muslims that I see here. First of all, I believe that everybody has the right to dress how they want to dress. Whether you're Muslim or not, I feel like freedom of expression extends to how we choose to attire. And I do think that everybody has that right to decide how they want to present themselves to the world. Now, for me, this is my style. You know, as a Muslim, you're supposed to be modest in your dress. Now, There's a particular way you're supposed to cover your hair, you're supposed to cover certain parts of your body, and I'm not going to go into all of the specifics of that, but you're supposed to be modest. But for me, as a professional businesswoman, I have to think about how I present myself to my audience. It's how I present myself to my clients, to the people I do business with, to my audience, whilst still being modest. I like fashion. So you have to think about, there is a balance between modesty and fashion. And you'll find that in other countries outside of Jamaica, even Muslim countries, we're not talking about Saudi Arabia here, because people always like to look at Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan, and they use those countries to sum up the entire Muslim world or Muslim population. That's not really how it is. So you'll find that in countries, you'll find that outside of Jamaica, there's a lot of diversity in terms of how Muslims present, women and men. So there are certain things that are general, but you will find that how we present is completely different. In terms of the scarf is something that we should wear as a Muslim woman, but not wearing a scarf does not make you not Muslim. Like, there are so many more important things to us than wearing a scarf. I know even in the Muslim community, they love to make it all about the hijab. They call it a hijab. The covering, they call it a hijab. But there's so much more to being a Muslim woman than the hijab. There is giving charities, being kind, is, being respectful, so many other things. And for me, I absolutely hate when people make it all about what you wear, right? So I do believe that you should be modest in your dress, but it is not all there is to being a Muslim woman and presenting as a Muslim woman. Also, on the issue of how we dress, there's an issue I have with dressing a particular way in certain countries, especially a country like Jamaica. Years ago, somebody said to me, for a Muslim woman, every time I see you, you're always smiling. And I said, that's a weird comment to make. So the person goes, most times when I see Muslim women, they look frumpy and sad and like their life is miserable and unhappy. And the truth is, my interaction with other Muslim women that's not the case, that they're unhappy and miserable, but that's how people see them. That's how people perceive them, even if it's not so. And of course, we can't care too much about what people think, but that is an important thing. You don't want to, you're definitely going to turn people off if you present as miserable and unhappy. People are not going to want to talk to you. People are not going to want to know about your religion. For me, I'm always getting questions, oh my God, you're Muslim, and people are always asking me a whole host of questions, and the first thing they say is, I want to ask you some questions, I hope you're not offended. No, I'm always happy to answer questions. Just ask. If it's not something I feel like I can answer, I'll just say that. But I don't have a problem answering questions about me or about my religion. So yeah, feel free to ask. And also, even in the Muslim world, it's not always what you see on TV. A lot of Muslim women in the Muslim world actually pretty much dress the way I dress as well. They don't all wear hijab either. It's like many other societies, with the exception of a few things. So the thing is, when people only experience us or know about us based on TV or what the mainstream media decides to push to you, it is difficult to really know what Muslims are like, because mainstream media is going to show you what they want you to form an opinion about. As long as you're aware that what they're showing you is not the full story, all is well. On the issue of dress, this is what I am, and it's not going to change. So I had posted on my Instagram page that my next video was going to be about my life as a Muslim in Jamaica, and I had gotten some questions, so I'm going to answer those. One of the questions that I commonly get, and I also got on my Instagram question, is, do I feel weird in my scarf going out, or am I hot? Let's answer the one about hot first. If you're hot, I'm hot. Generally speaking, I'm not that hot. Truth is, I prefer to wear my scarf like this because my neck is out, or a part of my neck is out, and it's just more comfortable for me than having the pin on the hair with my scarf. But either way, I'm only hot if you're hot. So basically, if the time is hot, I'm hot. If it's not, I'm not. Another thing, so on the issue of wearing my scarf going out, do I feel weird? No, absolutely not. Do I get discriminated against? I don't think so. If I do get discriminated against, I don't know. Maybe, I don't really know. I can only remember about three incidents where I can say you could probably call that discrimination. Years ago, when I was a teenager, I went to the gas station at Angels. And when I went in, a guy asked me, "Are you Muslim?" So I said yes. And he said, "Oh, I'm horrible, leave out of here." For me, I actually just thought that was funny. Listen, I laughed so hard because I just chalk it up to misinformation. Another time, I was in my uniform as a teenager again, here in Montego Bay. I went into a store, another similar comment just like that. Again, I laughed it off because I just thought it was hilarious. And one time though, while I was at work, in my work clothes, the office I was working out of at the time was at Bay West. And I went downstairs to the pharmacy, which everybody in the pharmacy know me and I'm friendly and I'm always talking to them and stuff. So this guy comes up and he was buying something and he's like, he's just talking all kind of negative things about Muslim people. It's the first I've ever heard anybody in Jamaica be so like rough, you know, the way he's talking about Muslim people and stuff. So so I felt a little uncomfortable. I really did feel uncomfortable, but that's it pretty much. So I don't know if I'm discriminated against, but for the most part I don't feel that way. So I just go about my business. Next question I was asked, if I was born into a Muslim family or I became Muslim as an adult. Answer to that, no, I was not born into a Muslim family. But I did not become Muslim as an adult either. I became a Muslim at the age of 13. So I wasn't born into a Muslim family, but I became Muslim as a really young age at 13. So how did I do that? So I had an uncle who was Muslim, not a biological uncle, but really a really close friend of my dad's. He was Muslim and he didn't introduce me to the religion at all. Playfully, I just ended up going to the mosque playfully and reading about being Muslim and learning about the culture and indirectly. So it wasn't a case where somebody was teaching me the religion deliberately or telling me to be Muslim or anything. I was just around. After that, I decided to become a Muslim from I was 13 till now. So I'm not going to tell you how many years because then you're going to figure out my age. And we're not going to do that. So to that question, so no, I wasn't born into a Muslim family, but no, I didn't become Muslim as an adult. But I did become Muslim on my own, and I've been Muslim ever since. And I marry a Muslim, so I know I have my own Muslim family because I have children. So yeah, so my immediate family is Muslim, but my extended family isn't. And we're just fine. Another question I was asked, what's the percentage of Muslims in Jamaica? And the answer to that is I absolutely do not know. The last numbers I saw years ago was that there were in excess of 1,500. So in excess of, so under 2,000 Muslims in the entire country. So it's really not a lot. That number may have grown over the years because I know a lot of people will convert or revert, if you will. Some people migrated here, returning residents and others. But in terms of the specific numbers, I don't know. What I can say is there's a mosque in almost every parish, but of course the numbers of attendees are very, very small. So that would be my answer to that question. Next question I was asked is, what's the best reason for anyone to become a Muslim based on my personal experience? Now, this video is not intended to convert or to convince anybody at all to become Muslims. To be honest, I don't take, I assume that we are supposed to talk about our religion to convince other people to become a Muslim. I don't do that. I just don't do that. It's just not for me. For me, I think it's best to lead by example. Be kind, be charitable, be a good person. And if somebody sees that and they want to learn more about your religion, then fine. But I'm not the type that's going to go out and preach to anybody because I'm just not that personality type. I'm fine with that. Now, to answer this question in particular, based on my experience, what I would say is the most compelling thing for anybody to look into the Muslim religion if they want to consider being a Muslim, just look at Muslim countries that are functioning well. And I'm not speaking about countries that have been destabilized. We're not talking about those countries. They're obviously not functioning well. But if you look at the countries that have been less interfered with, that are functioning well, Their crime rates are lower. Their pregnancies out of marriage are lower. The vices in the society in terms of drugs are much lower. Drunk driving, murders, all of those things are much, much lower. So just by looking at that, I would say that's a good reason to look into the religion. So for me, anybody who's interested in becoming a Muslim, I wouldn't tell you saying, hey, go ahead, you need to be a Muslim and so on. I would say research, read, study, learn about the religion for yourself. That's what I did. And even to this day, that's what I do, because as a Muslim, we're told to seek knowledge, to read, to ask questions. You know, we're not supposed to be sheeps to just follow. So if we don't understand something, we're supposed to ask, we're supposed to question, right? So for me, that would be my answer. I wouldn't say there's any one particular thing, but what I can say is if I'm practicing my religion as I should, I'm a much better citizen to society than if I'm not. That's what I can say. And yeah, the final question that I'm going to address is, what is the greatest or the biggest misconceptions that non-Muslims have of Muslims? That's a hard question to answer, but I would say that probably two things stick out for me. One of them is that all Muslims are the same, and so they might see something crazy on the news and then they just chalk it up to all Muslims being that way. And of course, it affects the way that they would interact or the way that they think about all Muslims. So that's a big one for me. But to that, not all Muslims are the same. Muslims behave differently according to their cultures, according to how they were raised. So a Muslim from Africa is going to be different from a Muslim from America, from the UK, from Bangladesh, from Middle East, because what makes us different is not just the religion that we follow, but also our lifestyle in terms of our cultural practices. It's all part of what makes us as people. Right? So just by being Muslim don't mean that we're all one, we're all exactly the same, right? So that's one big misconception for me. And the next one, and probably the one I hate the most, is that they think that all Muslim women are submissive. First of all, I don't even like that word. And the reason, and there's nothing wrong with the word per se, but it has a negative connotation, right? And that's why I don't like the word, because people think that submissive mean your husband said jump and you say ho hi. Hell no, that does not happen. Like, hell no, that does not happen. Listen, even Arab women, I've met a good number of Arab women and they are not even like that. So I'm not saying that Muslim women are not submissive according to their culture, but I'm not by the definition of what you expect, right? So I have respect for my husband, I do, but I expect him to have respect for me too. And so he has rights, I have rights. He has rights over me, I have rights over him. He has responsibilities to me, I have responsibilities to him. And that's the premise of the relationship. It's not a case where he's the boss, he's the head of the house, and he's the head of the house as a man. But it doesn't mean that if the relationship doesn't serve me, I have to stay, or vice versa, right? So there's choice here. So marriage is a contract. You can determine the terms. You can decide and negotiate and renegotiate the terms of your contract. And when it cannot work, you even have a clause to sever the contract. Yes, we can divorce. So you can decide how you want that relationship to function. It's not any different from relationships all over the world. And the funny thing is, I find women in this culture to be way more submissive with way less rights than us, to be honest. So there's this idea that Muslim women are frail. That one pisses me off, because I'm anything but that. And most Muslim women I've met are anything but that. What you will find though is that Muslim women don't load up their mouth and say, oh my God, it's me run things and it's me do this and it's me do that. But what culture do you know where for the most part it's not the women who run things? So this is not a religion that's telling you that you need to stay married whatever the cost, right? So that's what I have to say to that. I think I'm going to do a second video answering common questions that people have of Muslim women, because listen, on a daily I get so many questions, but sometimes I don't remember them all. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the comments below so I can make that part of my next set of questions that I may answer about us as Muslims, especially here from a Jamaican perspective. Remember, all the things mentioned in this video are my perspective, my experience, my opinion, so and does not in any way, shape or form represent the entire Muslim community. So that's it, guys. If you like this video or this type of content, please leave a comment saying that you do or you want to see more content like this. That's how I know what type of content to create for you, and I want to do content that you are interested in. That's how this thing works, you know. If you like the content I put out, I produce more of that. So if you can help me out here, let me know what you like or whether you like this video or not. Yeah. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, share and subscribe for more weekly content like this. I upload a video every week, so hit that notification bell right over there and you'll never miss a video when I upload. Thank you for watching, and remember, Jamaica is not just a place, it's an experience.